returning home All-Stars Pedro Alvarez, Andrew McCutchen, along with Jason Grilli and tonight's starter Jeff Locke, as they welcome the Oakland Athletics to town. The A's lead the American League West. It's interleague baseball. The Pirates tied atop the National League Central Division with the St. Louis Cardinals. And indeed, Jeff Locke is having an all-star season. Steve, he has been the anchor of this rotation since day one.
He really has. I mean, he lost that first game. He has not looked back. He has been as consistent a pitcher as I've seen in a long time. Not just the Pittsburgh Pirates. Anybody that I've seen work. How many starts since he really has failed after that first one? He has been remarkably consistent. And that's the one word you would love to apply to anybody in a starting rotation.
Yeah, remarkable. Those numbers are remarkable. An 8-game winning streak, longest by a Pirate lefty since 1983, the Candyman. Well, the Pirates, again, lead the National League Central Division, tied atop the division with the St. Louis Cardinals, but they continue to search for offense. Now, Clint Hurdle has Pedro Alvarez hitting fourth tonight, but he also has in right field Jose Tabata. They're hoping that Tabata really catches fire, and he's done a decent job so far, Steve.
Yeah, and I think all things considered, they would like him to secure that right field job. So he's come back after being on the shelf for a while. He looks like a Jose Tabata that's energized, and they're hoping that he can not only secure right field, but he can give the Pirates that offensive punch they need, because the pitching cannot carry a baseball team the entire season. You need some offense. You're going to need to win some 9-4, 7-5 ball games.
All right, it's the Buccos and the Oakland Athletics from PNC Park. Home sweet home. The last stretch of games before the All-Star break. Pirates and A's are coming up next.
Places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And buy PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And buy PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
All-Star Jeff Locke, his second to last start before the All-Star break. He is slated to start on Sunday, which would make him unlikely to appear in the All-Star game on Tuesday. But the point being, he is an All-Star. And as Clint Hurdle said earlier today, that was not necessarily on his list at the start of the year. Think about a guy who was battling for the 5th spot in the rotation in spring training, and he's going to take the mound. That 25-year-old All-Star, 8-1 at 2.12 ERA. Just a phenomenal start to the season for Jeff Locke.
And not everybody was in his corner in spring training for that 5th job, but boy, did he take a hold of it, and he has not looked back. Jeff Locke, All-Star. You know, if he can't pitch, why don't you just keep him on the roster and replace him with Mark Melancon? I would love to see
That's not a bad
Melancon.
idea. Maybe that'll happen. That's usually what does happen. The pitchers that are not going to pitch, they are replaced, even though they still go to the game and don't pitch. And Bartolo Colon on the other side will pitch on Sunday for Oakland, so he's not going to appear in the game in New York. But the 2 All-Stars going at it. Jeff Locke, the 25-year-old, against Bartolo Colon, the 39-year-old veteran. Locke second in the league in ERA, 2.12, behind Clayton Kershaw, whose earned run average is 189. So Bob Melvin's Oakland A's lead the West. This is his lineup. Veteran Coco Crisp in center field. Jed Lowry, the shortstop, as going to bat second. Couple of switch hitters. Then it's Josh Donaldson having a fine season. Yoenis Cespedes is in left field with Nate Fryman, the first baseman. Chris Young is in right. Derek Norris behind the plate. Grant Green just called up today. And Bartolo Colon on the mound.
And the Chevrolet numbers for Jeff Locke. The numbers do tell a story in this case. 8-1 with a 2.12 ERA. And he has worked a total of those 102 innings, 73 base hits. I mean, the batting average against is just tremendously impressive for Jeff. And this is a guy that doesn't blow the ball by people. So he is making his pitches. He has been deceptive. And watching a lot of his work, Greg, I see a lot of his curveballs down underneath the strike zone being chased. And they're unhittable curveballs because they're down so low. But he is showing them a breaking ball that looks good for most of the flight in toward home plate. And then it becomes down below the strike zone, unhittable, and he's getting them to swing and miss at that pitch. So we'll see if that becomes a little bit of a theme, an overall theme for Jeff tonight.
They usually put the ball in play against him, so defense is priority. Marte, McCutchen, Talbot in the outfield left to right. Alvarez and Clint Barmas at shortstop. Brandon Inge at second for Neil Walker, with Garrett Jones at first and Russell Martin behind the plate. Brandon Inge, who helped the Oakland A's last year, their second half surge as they reached the postseason. And Clint Barmas, his double play partner, the veteran, back in there at short. And Bob Melvin, the American League Manager of the Year last season. And we are underway. It is ball 1 to Coco Crisp.
Well, there's some experience up the middle in there. Barmas and Inge.
Falls behind Crisp out of the gate, 2-0. Crisp hitting .264, 33 years old. Over his last 15 games, hitting just .140.
One of the keys for Jeff Locke is not that he's overpowering. 91-mile-an-hour fastball is fine, but he spots his fastball so well. Throws it in good locations. That one notwithstanding, as he goes to 3-1. But I'm just so impressed he hasn't missed his spots very often for so many starts. Start number 18 right now, and he's been right there most of the time.
There are those that say, the sabermetricians and people that study the numbers, that it's not sustainable through an entire season what Locke is doing, that the numbers are going to increase, and by the end of the year his ERA is going to be closer to 4. But I think he has surprised even those people to this point. And this ball hit to the third baseman. And Alvarez. Nice play to retire Coco Crisp.
Kind of a routine all-star play. Yeah, you know, when you think about it, the sabermetricians or whatever they are, you know, that's kind of a knee-jerk thing, because how many people can sustain this kind of thing? I mean, you can say that to the average baseball fan. It's hard to sustain it. So, you know, other than stating what probably will be the obvious, it's hard to keep an ERA at that level.
Locke, for a number of reasons, why they say that, by the way. His walk rate is pretty high.
Well, wait a minute now. He's got 17 starts, 44 walks. What's that, a couple per start? A little over 2 a start?
Total of 44 is the 4th highest walk total in the National League, behind Jason Marquis and Edinson Volquez, both with the Padres, and Gio Gonzalez, the Washington Nationals.
Well, I would submit, though, if you've got 17 starts and you're averaging, what, two or three a game? Is that all?
Fouled off. Jeff Locke, 102 innings pitched. There's that walks total. His last start, 5 2/3 against the Phillies, after 3 straight starts throwing 7 innings. 2-2 on Jed Lowry.
Well, one of the nice things is that the Pirates have gotten him some offense the last 2 starts. Last start they won 6-5 and then 9-4 the previous before that. It's always good.
Now 3-2.
Jeff Locke always refers to AJ as a mentor.
Strikes out Lowry. That was his 70th strikeout of the year.
Downstairs, borderline pitch that you really don't want to take. I don't know if that's a breaking ball of some kind. Certainly an off-speed pitch that got him to chase. Mike DeMuro behind the plate, the crew chief Wally Bell at first, and then Alfonso Marquez and Scott Berry.
Bounced foul outside of third by Donaldson.
Wally Bell.
Oh, 1 the count on Josh Donaldson. 363 hitter against lefties.
He's leading this team in about every category.
Yeah. Find his name atop a lot of the offensive categories. A's fans on hand. They are in town for the first time since 2002. And as Steve said earlier, the Bucks are 0-9 against the Oakland Athletics. High drive to deep left, and Marte back and at the wall. Donaldson sent it a long way, but it's just a long out. Jeff Locke. Against Bartolo Colon, Starling Marte, a 12-game hitting streak, will be leading off for Clint Hurdle. And the lineup is brought to you by Toyota. Jose Tabata bats second, then Andrew McCutchen. Since June the 8th, 356 batting average. And the big news today, Pedro Alvarez hitting cleanup for the first time since the 4th game of the season. Russell Martin will bat 5th, then it's Garrett Jones, Brandon Inge, Clint Barmas, and Jeff Locke. against Bartolo Colon.
The ageless one, 40 years old. He has had a phenomenal career. He has won 182 Major League games. He is big. He's not a string bean, but he pitches well and he enjoys what he's doing.
Right away, Marte enjoying what he's been doing. 12-game hitting streak. Fouls that one off. Sharply hit. And of course, what a big hit. How great it would have been if the Pirates pulled that game out yesterday at Wrigley. That home run. He said, yeah, normally I don't try to hit a home run, but in that situation against Kevin Gregg, tried to, and he did, to tie the game in the ninth. Pirates lost in the 11th.
Mr. Colon still has a little mustard on the fastball at 92 miles an hour. And from what we read and hear, throws a lot of fastballs.
Started this season on the suspended list. He was suspended last year for testing positive for testosterone. And so he began this year to complete the suspension that began last year and completed at the beginning of this season. They brought him back, and Melvin said it was not a character issue. That was not a question for Bartolo Colon. He said he's a true gentleman. Ball backhanded by Donaldson, and he throws out Starling Marte. One down. But a great guy who made a mistake is what Bob Melvin said regarding the positive testing for testosterone, and they brought him back a one-year, $3 million contract.
Gee, in the big picture, couldn't we all be tested positive for testosterone?
Probably. The big picture. A career for Bartolo Colon, now 39 years old, third in wins behind Max Scherzer, who has 13, Matt Moore of the Rays with 12, and then Colon.
And you talk about the control issues, he has only walked 14.
Third time in his career he's been named to an all-star team. This ball is bounced to third. And Colon gets the first two batters, Marte and Tabata, to bounce to Donaldson. Cy Young Award winner in 2005. 7 different teams: Cleveland, the Expos, White Sox, Angels, Red Sox, Yankees, and back with Oakland.
Cy Young Award under his belt.
Once traded for Cliff Lee, Montreal, that blockbuster deal. Bartolo Colon.
And he can go the distance. A couple of complete games this year, shutouts. Again, 17 starts, 14 free passes. So talking to some of the Oakland people, he likes what he's doing. He has fun out there on the mound. Why shouldn't he? Made a lot of money. He's won a lot of games. Been around a long time.
One and two. McCutchen comes up empty. A 9-game hitting streak for Andrew McCutchen. Two and two now.
I was watching the games over the weekend. So good to hear the news. 4 Bucco All-Stars. Just great.
First time since 1981. And there's a shot past Colon. Line drive. Colon had, thankfully, ducked down out of the way, and kind of a half smirk over it first as he looks toward the scoreboard to take a look at that pitch.
This does not miss him by very much. Down goes Frazier.
Yikes.
Well, you know, even though he didn't come close, he had the glove up there, so still got some reactions. He was late. Anybody's going to be late with that rocket. But the glove was up there. He's still viable out there. Still very viable.
Now Alvarez. This experiment returns tonight. Pedro Alvarez hitting cleanup. And that's a passing ball towards second, hit hard, but Green handles it. And on to first to retire Pedro Alvarez. We've played one. Locke and Colon, a couple of all-stars. 0-0.
Of Pittsburgh, I'm Robbie Mikowski. Well, young sensation Yoenis Cespedes set to lead it off and bat for the first time here at PNC Park. Brandon Inge was his teammate last season in a run to the playoffs, and he discussed having Cespedes as a teammate.
Because he's pretty good. He's very good. Very fun to watch too. Playing with him, watching his batting practice every day that's kind of a treat. And it was, I mean, other teams would come out and watch him a little bit, almost like they used to do back in the day with McGuire. And not that he always hits them so far, but he just hits them hard. Everything he hits in BP is hard. But good head on his shoulders, and I enjoyed playing with him.
You know, this day and age, a news cycle moves really, really fast, and this year it's all Puig mania with Yasiel Puig from the LA Dodgers. But last year, once this guy started putting a show, believe me, the fans flocked all day and all night to watch this guy, Greg and Steve, play when he was a young, and now he's an up-and-comer with a ton of energy.
Robbie, the A's took a bit of a gamble. A lot of people shook their heads when Billy Beane offered the kind of money he did to this Cuban defector before the 2012 season. And well, he did not disappoint. Hit .292 last year with 23 homers, drove in 82 runs, finished second to Mike Trout in Rookie of the Year. Quite a talent. Strike is called. Yoenis Cespedes, 5'10", 210 pounds. He's 27 years old. The A's were the winning bidders for his services. They paid $36 million over 4 years to a player that few saw in person.
It's very difficult for us on the East Coast to have an appreciation for these kinds of stories. But around Oakland, they know about this young man.
Such a big part of the A's run last year. They won 94 games. An incredible second half surge. 3-1 the count now on Cespedes. The A's say it wasn't because of the training video that he has and his agent put out to other clubs just to display his talents. And there's a walk to Cespedes. But it couldn't have hurt. I mean, it probably opened some eyes and at least intrigued them as he went through his training regimen on a video that he sent out to the clubs. Several teams did show interest.
Well, this sort of thing can never hurt. Pretty impressive stuff.
A's director of player personnel Billy Owens filed a scouting report in October of 2010 watching a qualifying tournament for the Pan America Games in San Juan. And it said, live-bodied athletic center fielder for the Cuban national team is built like a young Emmitt Smith, physical, defined, ripped with muscles throughout, tooled up, go for the gusto, aggressive hitter, uncoils and attacks, plus bat speed and strength. And at the end of this report, in big bold letters said acquired. And there's a double play ball. Easy to Vargas and on to Jones as Nate Fryman bounces into the easy DP.
And Brandon had the option of taking it himself at second base or giving it to Clint. Could have been a 4-3, became a 6-4-3 or 4-6-3. Room service double play. Nice high bounce.
A little fun for a couple of veterans there.
Yeah.
Inge and Barmes.
See that's what you do when you practice an infield practice. You have a little fun with it because it's so easy.
It's got to be really fun for him to be playing alongside Barmes. Neil Walker is out. Walker said he'll need another 24 hours probably to determine his status for remaining games before the All-Star break. There's the Buccos second baseman.
Let's hope that Starling Marte might take the same road as a Cespedes, have the same kind of, because you look at raw talent, and people that have the ability to maybe do wonderful things when they mature and evolve, get it all figured out. Be a nice road to take for the Pirate left fielder.
There's Cespedes, who in the summer of 2011, 25 years old, he secretly boarded a speedboat along with his mother, several relatives, and made the 23-hour trip to the Dominican Republic. He established a legal residency in the Dominican, and that man knows all about that. Euclides Rojas, Pirates bullpen coach. Left Cuba, risked his life, left his family for the freedom of going to America. And Steve, those guys, the only ones that can possibly understand.
Yeah.
What that's all about.
But if you got to do it, better to have a speedboat, huh?
Yeah. Ball popped up. Shallow center. McCutchen says he has it.
Vintage Jeff Locke to start the ball game.
Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the second inning here at PNC Park. 0-0. Pirates and Athletics interleague play. Both teams have done well in interleague games. This ball hit toward right center. Coco Crisp makes the catch off the bat of Russell Martin. 1 pitch, 1 out. All-Star voting isn't quite over yet. You can vote for the final player for each league's roster until Thursday at 4 p.m. Go to Pirates.com, cast your All-Star Game final vote for the final 2 All-Stars for the game in New York. Vote at Pirates.com or on your mobile phone. There are the players involved in the National League final vote. Ian Desmond, Freddie Freeman, Adrian Gonzalez, Hunter Pence, and Yasiel Puig.
And currently Freeman leads the voting. Andrew McCutch is already in.
Yeah. Kind of hard to believe, but we're obviously not objective. But how can David Wright not select Pedro Alvarez?
Astounding.
And David Wright is coming in this weekend. He's going to have to answer that.
He'll hear it.
Yep. In fact, when the scoreboard folks put that announcement up on the board, it was lustily booed that their man is not going to be involved in the home run derby. Instead, it'll be Carlos Gonzalez, Michael Kadire, Bryce Harper, and David Wright.
Not a bad group, but Pedro should be a part of that group. You know, with a guy that has a pure home run distance swing. And there's your National League long ball representative.
I mean, Alvarez with 22 home runs, 3rd in the league.
Kadire has 15.
Harper has 13. And was out for a while because he was hurt for quite a bit. Robinson Cano, by the way, chose it. Chris Davis, Prince Fielder. He is still contemplating maybe Edwin Encarnacion or Miguel Cabrera or Adam Dunn.
Why would you not choose Cabrera for anything? Any kind of offensive event?
Brandon Inge now, the former Oakland Athletic.
Well, back to this game, we sure do expect to see a lot of pitching tonight with the veteran and the apprentice.
Brandon Inge hit .218 combined last year in 83 games with Detroit and Oakland. Was placed on the disabled list in September. Had shoulder surgery the 13th, so he missed the playoffs, but able to talk to some of his former teammates, and boy, they raved about what he did for the club last year as he strikes out looking, and he is not in agreement with Mike DeMuro. Back-to-back Ks for Cologne. He has a 1-2-3 bottom of the second, and it remains 0-0. Jeff Locke back to the hill. Tonight's Barrel Automotive League leader stat. Major League Baseball leaders in opponents' batting average on balls in play. Pirates with the lowest, which is the best. Barrel Automotive were driven to be better. And you see the A's are next, and basically that just tells you that they turn a lot of balls that are put in play into outs. Pirates and the A's the best in that defensive metric.
Well, you can't argue with BABIP.
With what?
BABIP.
BABIP.
Well, that's what it said.
Yeah.
Batted balls put in play.
Ball one on Derek Norris, the catcher.
What you can't judge, I don't care what you say, is people getting a jump. What kind of jumps people get. And that's got to be a factor, but that's not addressed. Give me some numbers on that.
Well, I think that is a factor, Steve. I think that the factor of getting describes what Marte and McCutchen have done, getting great jumps on balls. I think it describes Pedro Alvarez, of his quickness. He's getting to more. Pedro Alvarez has gotten more balls than any player in the National League at third base. So, and the shifting, Clint Hurdle points out, has also helped. The Pirates have been very aggressive with shifting.
Well, I stand corrected.
So I think that does come into play. Not that you stand corrected, but I think that's part of that metric. If you're getting to a lot of balls put in play, a number of factors come into play. And there's no arguing what Marte and McCutchen have done, and we, having watched them all year in left and center. Foul territory. Tabata. He got a pretty good jump on that one as he catches the Derek Norris pop up. Right away, he's off.
You sure?
Jeff Locke now faces Grant Green. His major league debut. First round pick. 13th overall in 2009 out of USC. He was hitting .318 at Sacramento. 11 homers and 49 RBIs. They designated Adam Rosales for assignment.
He's already got his feet on the ground. He handled his first major league ground ball off the bat of Alvarez.
Ball and 2 strikes on Grant Green out of USC. 25 years old. A lot of the lefties sit today against Jeff Locke. Five left-handed position players available off the bench for Melvin, who said he will probably platoon Green and Eric Sogard. And 3-2. There's the bench for Bob Melvin, and there's a familiar name, Brandon Moss, former Bucco. In the air to center. McCutchen, 2 outs. So a foul out to right, a fly out to center. And Jeff Locke faces Bartolo Colon.
Good work so far for Locke. He's been deep in several counts going through the batting order the first time, but no damage, just 1 base runner, and that one erased on a double play. Getting it done.
Colon 0 for 3. The A's pitchers are batting combined 2 for 15. 1 walk and 7 strikeouts.
I don't see too many infield hits in his future.
No. Or hits at all for that matter, huh? Strike 3. Second K for Jeff Locke. He's through the lineup once, and it's 0-0.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Shots and by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
And we'll check out our Day Automotive This Day in Pirates history. This day, 1982, the Reds and Bucks play a wild ninth inning. Bucks starter, the former Red Manny Sarmiento, entered the game's final inning with a 4-2 lead, gave up 3 in the ninth when then Kent Tekulve came in, gave up 3 more as the Reds took an 8-4 lead, but in the bottom of the ninth, Bucks came back, 2-run pinch hit homer, Willie Stargell, 3-run double by Jason Thompson. A 9-8 win. That home run, by the way, by Willie came off Reds' Tom Hume, 474th of his career. He'd hit 1 more in his career. Also, by the way, off Tom Hume. Day Automotive, we're going to make your day.
Did Jason Thompson have enough speed to get to second base?
I don't know how. It had to be couldn't have been a ground rule double. Pedro and me, 2009. How about that?
There you go.
Back in the day with Pedro.
Veteran stuff.
And a base hit for the veteran, Varmus.
Give Jeff Locke the bunting bat in his hand. I would think you'd be up there looking for fastballs most of the time. That's the scouting report on Bartolo Colon.
Steve, as a hitter, if you know you're going over those numbers that you just gave us, the control numbers for Colon, do you think that your strategy, your game planning changes?
I think you've got to be aggressive early on because you're going to fall behind in the count. You want to extend at bats. I understand the concept, but if you're going to extend the at bat, you're going to be extending it by being 1-2 or 0-2. You're in the hole.
Aggressive early, even.
Yeah.
Which Varmus was.
We all know the numbers of when you're ahead in the count as a hitter or when you're behind in the count. Used to be about a difference of 100 points. So why fall behind?
Foul by Jeff Locke. Varmus leadoff hit.
And they saw 4 sacrifice bunts. What a thrill for Jeff Locke.
Jeez. And we were talking, you and I, before the game about the fact that, and kind of an unknown fact, that if Jeff Locke had pitched 1 less inning last year, we'd be talking Rookie of the Year for this guy. Ball is fair, and out there, and not at first. Oh, a safe call at second. A safe call at second. Alfonso Marquez said he was off the bag. Jed Lowry can't believe it. Everybody's safe.
And they're not coming out of the Oakland dugout to argue it. Although Bob Melvin sure did get his attention. And we'll get a good close look at this. The bad news that it sits right there for the catcher, Norris. Up in the air, comes down.
Oh, was that close?
Yep.
Man, they usually give that call to the guys,
That's
don't they?
the neighborhood call.
I don't know that the Pirates would have argued if he had been called out. So first and second, nobody out. See if the Pirates take advantage of this break. Starling Marte. He bounced to third his first time, and Donaldson in on the grass at third. And Marte shows bunt and fouls it off. Another look.
He's going to go up in the air. He's going to go up before he... Oh, that's close whether he still might have the foot on the bag. But we get the call.
See Lowry's reaction when he heard Marquez say safe.
And you're exactly right. If he's called out, the Pirates are going to bark probably from the dugout, but not pursue it very much.
So fielder's choice, E6. And 0-2 now. Sure how the shortstop gets an error there on the high throw.
He's supposed to be taller. That's his fault.
Broken bat, foul. splintered right toward Colon.
Split off. By the way, there is an emerging story in the bat industry with this ash borer. We're talking about some of the bat companies. Ash borer is almost an epidemic in Pennsylvania, especially western Pennsylvania. And, a lot of bats still made from ash. I'm not sure of the stats on it or anything, any of the numbers on it.
I don't either. Don't look at me. 0-2 the count on Marte. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Marte with 27 runs batted in. 24-year-old from the Dominican Republic, Starling Marte, facing the 39-year-old veteran Bartolo Colon. And Colon strikes him out.
There is a veteran presence out there that is familiar with these kind of situations, knowing when you're going to have different approaches. Got to a point where strikeout would have fit pretty good, and he picked it up. This guy has struck out a lot of batters. When he was a fireballer, he was over 200 a couple different years.
Marte up there in the top 10 in terms of strikeouts, by the way. National League hitters. Tabata grounded out his first time.
Oh, the tumbling act. Clint Barmes going Olympic on us. Oh, they want. Yeah, they should hold up the number of fingers. We'll give you a 10 or 9. Oh, yeah, that's tricky stuff.
Look at that.
That's
nice.
That's the life-size Z.
Yeah, life-size Z. That's what that was. And Tabata takes a strike. Base hit for Barmes to lead off the inning and safe on the air.
5th career start for Colon against the Pirates. He is 2-1, but his first 2, 9 innings and then 8 innings, no runs when he got his career started against the Bucks.
Chopper toward third. Donaldson coming in. Little bobble, but he still gets him. Josh Donaldson throws out Tabata. With a second out. And now it's up to McCutchen. Tabata 0 for 2, couple of groundouts to third. McCutchen lined the ball past Colon to extend his hitting streak to 10 straight games. Last 5 games, McCutchen hitting .474. Actually now .500 with that base hit. .94 from Colon.
Yep. That's what you call preserving your strength for when you want it. Up and in, 94. So he's got it there when he needs to use it. And you save it. You don't waste that. You don't waste that kind of speed at your age.
95. 1-1. Andrew McCutchen going to the All-Star game again. I'm missing my All-Star game to see my favorite All-Star.
Go.
That's nice.
Yep.
Next Tuesday in New York. 3rd straight time for McCutchen. Now 1-2.
And Colon is bringing out the speed. 94, 95, 95 last 3 fastballs.
Now you wonder if he's going to slow it down.
Maybe he just likes the action. He likes the challenge.
He turned 40. I think I said 39. Turned 40 at the end of May.
Okay, young Mr. All-Star, I still got something left in the tank. Let's see if he continues.
Oh, 94. He strikes out McCutchen. How about Bartolo Colon?
That is a veteran program with 2 men on, nobody out.
High school rushing leader Russell Shell and his Hopewell Vikings battle it out with Mike Caputo and his West Allegheny Indians in the 2009 WIBIO AAA Football Championship. Relive this memorable high school game with interviews from Mike Caputo, Bob Palco, and Simon, and more on Sunday Night Classic. Shell versus Caputo, Sunday at 8 on Root Sports. Here in the 4th inning at PNC Park, it's 0-0. The A's and the Pirates, game 1 of 3, this interleague series. The A's returning to Pittsburgh for the first time since 2002.
And I bet Bartolo Colon is in the dugout trying to catch his breath now, because he was able to reach back and get a whole lot of speed just to play a little old-fashioned backyard hardball against Andrew McCutchen. Give that one to Colon. That might have been personal after McCutchen almost took his head off in the first at bat.
Might have been personal. I'll show you. Now back to the top of the order, Coco Crisp.
Jeff Locke has faced the minimum with the help of the double play. I talked to Ray Searage about Jeff going to the All-Star game. Routine bouncer to Clint Barmas. He routinely gets over to first base. I said, what was the difference in reaction between Grilli and Locke getting the news? He said, well, Grilli almost got emotional because he's been up and down the street and he's paid his dues and going along with that theme, which is wonderful. He said Jeff Locke was like a kid on Christmas morning.
Really?
Yeah, so it's wonderful because you got the range of emotions for that wonderful honor. And I asked Jeff, I never try to bother a pitcher before the game. I said, make me a promise after this pitch. So it's downstairs. I said, make me, when you go into the dressing room, the clubhouse for your All-Star, stop by the door and just take a look at the nameplates around the lockers. Just soak it in, because you're part of that. You're part of the best group that they have in the National League. He said he would.
That's kind of what you decided to do, huh?
I did.
You actually, I mean, did you take it all in?
I did. I walked in the door and I looked at the nameplates, the Seavers and the Carltons, and this phenomenal group of athletes.
Ball hit toward right center field. Tabata toward right center. It's going to be over his head and short hop the wall. Jed Lowry into second base with a one-out double and the first hit for the Oakland A's. A double by Lowry.
Ringing double, and you get the idea the ball's carrying very nicely with that fly ball that went deep out to Marte earlier in the ball game. This ball carried very well to right center. Got a jumping baseball tonight.
23 doubles for Jed Lowry. Now Josh Donaldson, who sent Marte to the wall in left center field in the first inning.
Well, you said it right early in the ball game, Greg, that Jeff Locke's going to put the ball in play, and you need the defense. And there's some things you just can't defend, that ball right there. But there's going to be action, and you don't need spectacular. You'd like to get that, but you need consistent defense, and that's pretty much been the story. Part of the Jeff Locke story is put the ball in play, and they've been able to catch it and throw it.
Comes in there on Donaldson. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. So he has tonight and then Sunday. And wouldn't it be something? Is it asking too much to get him 2 more W's before the break? Go to 10-1.
Yep.
Who's ours with Jeff Locke?
Yep. And he's already on the All-Star squad, so he doesn't have to have it to get there. But boy, would that be frosting on the cake.
And that's going to allow the runner to move up 90 feet, it looks like, but Thornton gets to it quickly. Oh, safe at third, very close.
Good effort on the tag by Pedro, and a late try by Russell Martin. I thought they had a real good chance at third base because the throw is decent once he turns it loose, and then a pretty good swipe tag attempt by Pedro. There it is, just the initial hesitation of not finding it, but boy,
oh man!
Pedro might have come through before he got there.
Yeah,
the swipe tag got through, Alvarez, and then the foot.
He figured he had to do that quick swipe tag, but he actually had a little more time.
Well, the thing is, the play was behind him, so he had to take a shot.
Yep. And this ball popped up, should be plenty deep enough. Catching set up for a throw, and it's an easy sacrifice fly. And a 1-0 lead for the A's. Fans not happy with that safe call from Scott Berry. But you can see it. Alvarez did miss the tag. Nice job, though, by Russell Martin. Finding the ball pretty quickly and gunning it to Alvarez. So Cespedes at the plate with a run in and 2 outs. 1-0 Oakland. I
think when an umpire sees a player with his back to the play, he's going to really be clinical in terms of what call he's going to make. That's the only chance that Pedro had.
One. Cespedes walked in the second. Ground ball, Alvarez. And on the first, a double, a wild pitch, and a sac fly. The A's take a 1-0 lead. The A's pick up a run. Their fans are happy, even though he's got the A's jersey, but that's a Go Pirates, kid. Hey, that's a Go Pirates foam finger there. Think you knew that?
Hey, you bought the ticket.
I'm just kidding. Alvarez grounded out in the first. Bartolo Colon, 6 balls, 31 strikes. And Alvarez again going the other way. Opposite field single for Pedro Alvarez.
Well, the thing is, if David Wright's not going to pick him for the home run derby, he's just going to start hitting the opposite field. What the heck?
These are the kind of things that Clint Hurdle said today. One of the reasons why he decided that today was the day he was going to move him to the cleanup spot. Just the way he's been swinging the bat and the fact that he's been going the other way. And, of course, the offense needs something.
You know, it's so funny. It almost looks familiar to see him there because we have had him in our subconscious in the cleanup spot from the time he was signed.
Well, he was in the cleanup spot, you remember, opening day this year. Clint Hurdle had him in opening day, game 2 of the season, and then the 4th game of the season, and that was it.
Yep.
And he said, by the way, I asked him about what happens with lefties. He says Russell Martin, for now, will hit cleanup against lefties. And Russell Martin will see a left-hander on Wednesday night, Tommy Malone. 2-0 the count on Russell Martin. Flied out to center in the second. Colon has struck out 4 batters. Pirates with 3 hits. It's 2-1 on Russell Martin.
You know, Colon has been on a roll most of the year, but in the month of June, 5 starts, 7 runs given up in the 5 starts to go 5-0. You give up 7 runs in a month. Some pitchers have done it in 20 minutes. Last outing, 7 innings, a couple of runs given up, and a win over the Cardinals, one of the better teams in Major League Baseball.
11 wins, tied with Tom Candiotti for second most by a 40-year-old in Oakland history. Tom Candiotti in 1998 won 11. The record is 13. Don Sutton in 1985. I don't remember Sutton even pitching for the A's, but he did.
I don't remember that either. One thing I remember about Sutton in 1966, Walter Alston was quoted as saying, "I got a really good young right-handed pitcher you guys are going to like." As only Walter Alston could say it. Yes, I got a kid here you're going to like.
3-1 now on Martin. Colon walked 1 his last time out against the Cubs, and a double play ball. But a little trouble, and Green, trying to turn the double play, could not get the ball out of his glove initially, and that cost them a chance to turn 2. You get Alvarez, the lead man on the fielder's choice. It goes 6-4.
Yep, you would expect this to be 2. The clutch, the double clutch. You need the automatic transmission, not the clutch. Take the clutch out of the equation. Thrill for him tonight.
Yeah.
In a Major League ball game. You can be touted as a blue chipper, as a phenom, but you get inside that young man who makes his first big league start. Those words go away. You're out there.
How about this? Look at that. Nate Fryman towering over Russell Martin. Fryman 6'8".
Look at he's down there and he still is tall. The crouch.
Russell Martin listed at 5'10". And it's 2-0 now on Garrett Jones.
Little Mutt and Jeff action.
Look at that. 2-0 the count on Jones. Colon has given up 9 home runs. In 2004, when he won 18 games with the then Anaheim Angels, he gave up 38 home runs that year. Following year, he won the Cy Young with the Angels.
So now he's over that career 300 mark. Home runs given up.
2-2 on Eric Jones.
Ouch again. You just can't continue hitting your ankle like that. I mean, that's what, 3 in a row.
Full count. In 2. Brandon Inge on deck. Big full count pitch. Walked him. Saturday, PPG Industries will present Zambelli Fireworks following the 7:15 game against the New York Mets. It's also an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. All fans get a scratch card good for prizes from Eaton Park. Go to Pirates.com for tickets. 7:15, Pirates and the New York Mets. That'll be the second to last game before the break. Get your tickets for the remaining games on this homestand tomorrow night. Garrett Cole on the mound for the Bucks. Wednesday night, it's Francisco Liriano. Off day Thursday. Charlie Morton will start Friday against the Mets. A.J. Burnett will pitch that Saturday night game, and Jeff Locke will come back on Sunday. There's Charlie Morton. Garrett Cole next to him.
I got us down for a little 4-2 homestand.
I like it. There's Francisco Liriano. 0-1. Inge struck out looking in the second. Well, he's in the hole, 0-2.
I showed Inge talking to some of his former teammates. You know, the more we hear about Brandon Inge from all different kind of directions, what a good teammate he is, what a positive influence he is on the ball clubs he's played with. The more you hear that, you hear it from one source, okay, think about it, but kind of coming in all directions about Brandon Inge.
Inge had 11 homers last year in his time with Oakland after he was let go by the Tigers. And this is a new role for him, not to make excuses, but he's been a starter his whole career. So a new role, bench player. Bob Melvin knows very well what Inge meant to his A's last year. And a little fister. And they call the infield fly rule on it.
You know, some of the guys in the Oakland broadcasting team were talking about the relationship of Brandon Inge and John Donaldson, the third baseman. It seemed to be a positive situation. A's third baseman.
Josh Donaldson, first round pick of the Cubs.
Yep.
2007. There's Ray Fosse on your left. Can't help it every time you hear him, his name, or see him. Remember Pete Rose in the All-Star game. Ground ball to short, and Barnes is retired. Lowry to Fryman. Pirates strand a couple. 1-0 A's through 4.
The top of the 5th inning. Fans out welcoming their Pirates back home. Carl Greffenstedt, longtime South Hills resident, throwing out the ceremonial first pitch to his son Ed. And quite a story. Carl Greffenstedt, a lot of amateur baseball in the South Hills area. He's from Carrick, and Duquesne University Hall of Famer. Was signed really with the Boston Braves, but was drafted into the U.S. Navy, so he has quite a resume there. But then the interesting part of the story, he came back to the South Hills, and Honus Wagner was coaching a team that he played for, and on one of those teams, I don't know if it was Honus's team, he also had Paul Wainer as a teammate.
Wow.
So quite a resume for Carl Greffenstedt, longtime South Hills residents, and one of the few guys from Carrick that had a better resume than John Wainer. Not very many did, but Carl and his son Ed here tonight. Glad to see him.
It's a neat story.
Yep. Duquesne University Hall of Fame.
Nate Fryman hits a drive deep to center field. McCutcheon back. Does he have room? Yes.
Containment for PNC Park.
Fryman has hit 2 home runs, and McCutcheon had just enough room.
Big part of the ballpark, and that was center cut and had a lot of carry. Andrew puts that very stylish glove to work. We've got some neon involved.
Black and gold.
That might be gold plus.
Speaking of folks that were here today, great to see Russ Brandon, Buffalo Bills president, along with his new GM, Doug Whaley, the former Pitt safety and linebacker. Spent some time in the Steelers front office. There's a line drive that is hooking foul. They were guests of the field, Ann Elder from the Pirates, and Russ Brandon and Doug Whaley getting a chance to talk with Clint Hurdle. 1 ball, 1 strike on Chris Young.
And while we're at it, a good get well wish to Mike Soda out in the Neville Island area from our good friend Paul Meyer. And also that report coming from the Duramo dynasty out in that area. So good to hear from Paul. And Mike, hope you're off the DL and back in the starting lineup.
Yep.
Mike Soda. Paul and I were able to dissect the Pirates chapter and verse this morning on the phone.
Oh, really?
And Paul's on the money.
Yeah.
Paul is on the money. Paul gets it. Paul Meyer, big writer for the PGA. Over the years, covered the Pirates, covered the Cincinnati Reds. And
how's he doing, by the way?
He's doing great. Big fan of the Columbus Jets back in the 60s. Paul Meyer.
3-2 count on Chris Young. Stays full. We were in a conversation via the internet with David Jaros, the former Pirate, who said to pass along his best. He's a great baseball fan and a historian of sorts, who passed along a list of former Pirates and A's. A long list he compiled. These two teams meet, and they could have met, Steve, I guess in '72, couldn't they? Pirates and A's. Pirates and A's probably could have met in '72, couldn't they?
Well, yeah. I'm sorry, I wasn't.
That's all right. No.
Bob moves through the wild pitch, and you talk about being devastated with Sid Bream coming across home plate. Well, I don't even remember who it was that came across the home plate.
Now, at that time, though, were you and your teammates starting to look ahead as to who you might play in the World Series?
Yeah, we were, because we won the year before. Yeah. It was heart wrenching, both in '72 and '92.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden, go home.
Grounded, shortstop Barmes, a little stumble, recovers, throws, and the pick by G.I. Jones. A pretty play on both ends.
2 circles on that one. 6-3. Well done. Very well done.
Then Barmes flashing the leather. Garrett Jones at the other end. That's Friday, and all fans take home a gold Pirates t-shirt. That's Brian Morris with that t-shirt. Thanks to Cottonelle, Viva, and Giant Eagle. We invite you to get to Federal Street before the game for a Budweiser block party featuring local live music and meet former Buccos second baseman Rennie Stennett at the Budweiser Bar. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday. The Pirates and Oakland A's for 2 more, and then the Mets in their first and only trip. Nice. Picayune, Mississippi. First Pittsburgh Pirates game. They got that at the Root Sports Sign store, I suppose.
Yeah, don't be strangers.
Ball 1 on Jeff Locke. And a strike. A run, 1 hit for the Oakland A's. No runs, 3 hits for Pittsburgh.
Jeff promised me he'd get a base hit tonight. So
he did.
Yep. As the commissioner said, Jeff, you're on the clock.
The Pittsburgh Pirates are on the clock. Bud Selig during the Major League Baseball draft.
Every time.
The Oakland Athletics are on the clock. Ban the DH. Block to left. Thought that was going to be it for you, Steve.
Yep, I did too.
You can always tweet us, #BucksBooth, and thanks to AT&T, this one comes in. Anyone else think Francisco Liriano has a good enough numbers to be an all-star?
Yes. Yep.
That's your answer, huh?
I do. 8-3, and got healthy just at the right time to give that Pirates some backbone with that surge. He has been terrific. It's nice to have so many candidates.
Yeah.
I mean, Liriano, Melanson does not involve.
Starling Marte was certainly a guy that was worthy of consideration, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Hey, well, we have a moment. Happy anniversary to Jason Steele and his wife Sophie. Their 8th anniversary, and I guess Jason must have been Sophie's choice.
Oh. That was excellent. Jeff Locke. Allowing 1 hit so far, that 1 run. Pirates trying to do something here. 3rd time around now against Cologne. He is so tough. 2 all-star pitchers locked up here in a duel.
Yeah, and they get in these grooves, all of a sudden the innings start clicking along. Yeah, his first game against the Pirates, a shutout. The next game against the Pirates, 8 scoreless innings.
That first game was back in June of 1998 for Bartolo Colon.
The interesting year for him was 2002. He won 10 for Cleveland, and then he turned around and won 10 for Montreal. 20-game season, split, and he was 10-4 with both teams, 20-8.
Traded to Montreal with pitcher Tim Drew for Cliff Lee, Lee Stevens, Brandon Phillips, and Grady Sizemore. That was one blockbuster trade. There's a chopper. Tabata will try and hustle down and don't get the infield hit. Andrew McCutcheon comes to the plate. Time for the whiff, brought to you by Head & Shoulders, now with Old Spice. Steve, you talked about it. That third inning at bat, Colon against McCutchen.
A lot of heat. Fastballs just picking up the pace on the speed, getting up 94, 95, and just really no subtlety. Just I'm going high and I'm going hard, and you're going down, and that's what happened to Andrew. It's called turning the dial up.
His average velocity of the fastball this year is 90.1, so he really did turn it up, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. And upstairs too, where it's doubly tough to catch up to it. Many times when you catch up to that kind of speed, you're under the ball a little bit. You foul a lot of balls back. You're trying to get the bat speed going and still take it upstairs rather than straight across your body. You're trying to elevate a little bit. Tough to catch up to.
Fastball, slider, changeup. How often he uses each. Major with the fastball, as you see, as Steve said at the outset. Average velocity just over 90 miles per hour. But ramped it up against McCutchen, and there's a foul, and it's 0-2. So this is the third matchup. McCutchen won the first battle with a liner.
And now he's mixing it up a little bit. So he just went to the heat, the second at bat. Now, okay, I made my point. I'm going to show him something else. Last pitch under 90 miles an hour.
McCutchen lined it right past Colon in the first inning. Then Colon struck out McCutchen. Now he's out in front 0-2. Ground ball, sliding stop. And Donaldson throws out Andrew McCutchen. 5 scoreless innings for 40-year-old veteran Bartolo Colon. 1-0 Oakland. Second baseman Scott Sizemore, most of the season, underwent surgery on his left ACL back in April. Out for the rest of the year. Injury update brought to you by our friends at Allegheny Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And while we're on the subject, I want to clean up a report. I don't know how big a deal it is, but talking with Neil Walker, he did not have an MRI, does not plan to have an MRI. And
it was reported that he had one.
Yeah. In 24 hours, he says he should know a lot more tomorrow. I would think, Steve, if he can't play tomorrow, then 4 games left before the break, probably close to considering DLing him. Because then they can use that time, the All-Star break. So I think tomorrow is probably a pretty important day for Neil Walker. Brandon Inge in the meantime, starting at second. Clint Hurdle said if the DL becomes a possibility, you're looking at Josh Harrison, who's played a lot of second base down at AAA Indianapolis.
And you got a veteran out there right now that can play.
1-2 on Grant Green in the meantime. Jeff Locke trying to keep it close, and he strikes out Green. 1 away.
There's that curveball we were talking about early in the ball game, but this one isn't chased. It seems to stay downstairs, downstairs, downstairs. Picks up that down and in corner. It's just remarkable the pitches he has made.
Clint Hurdle calls Jeff Locke the intern when he's not on the mound, and when he is on the mound, he's the silent assassin. Now he might have a new nickname, Robin. Because his Twitter account, he's got the Robin insignia, and A.J. Burnett has the Batman avatar. The Batman and Robin. And 4-3, Colon is retired. Hey, Sundays are kids' days at PNC Park. Join us this Sunday. Pirates and Mets 135. All kids 14 and under take home a tumbler cup thanks to Mrs. T's Pierogies. Come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. Stay after the game. Kids can run the bases. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. Kids' Day, Sunday, the final game of this homestand.
I'd have to get myself 1 or 2 of those cups.
You think? You might? A couple cases, yes. You will. Boy, they take care of you, don't they, Steve?
Well, it's all for a good cause.
Here's Coco Crisp. As we look at the schedule, 2 more with the A's. The off day Thursday, Pirates Charities Golf Tournament will take place on Thursday, and then 3 with the Mets before the break. Then the Pirates hit the road for a good stretch of games, and their first homestand after the All-Star break is a 5-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Hello.
Sharply hit right at second. Ho-hum, Jeff Locke. He's allowed 1 hit, 1 run through 6, but trails 1-0.
Tyone, who for the 3rd time this season went a career-high 7 innings. General Manager Neil Huntington told me he's continuing to develop well, particularly using his changeup more. That's a pitch he's going to need when he makes it to the big leagues, so they want to get him to continually use his changeup with confidence. During the outing last night, something crazy happened. They're playing Erie. Brandon Douglas at the plate. A foul ball goes into the suite level. Look where it lands. In the cup holder, in the suite level, after bouncing off the railing. an unbelievable play. The way that thing landed, they couldn't let it there stay long enough to get a photo of it because the lady went out and grabbed the baseball. But not only 7 good innings for Jameson Taillon without issuing a walk, but that crazy ball that landed in the cup holder. And back on the thought with Huntington, he wants him to continue to develop his changeup, Stephen Gregg, because that's a pitch when he gets here to the big leagues. He's going to have to rely on that. So you want him to use that as much as he can, even if his numbers are negatively impacted.
And Huntington kind of echoed those sentiments on the radio show yesterday, that when asked when Taillon might get promoted to AAA Indianapolis, that he is coming along with that changeup and getting more confident in that.
Basically, he kind of said, we'll let you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what those are his words. We'll let you know.
Yeah, but a really step forward. And the thing I liked about that chart with the stats from his game, no free passes. You always like to see that guy climbing his way up the ladder through the organization.
2-1 now on Pedro Alvarez.
Now, we talked about the Pirates getting some good offensive support for Jeff Locke last 2 starts, but they've got to get it going. Time's a wasting, and as we said, these innings can click along when you've got 2 good starters working, and that's exactly what we have tonight.
Cologne's averaging under 100 pitches per game. He's at 71 now, and their bullpen has really come along. You're looking down the road here. Grant Balfour has a streak going of 40 consecutive saves converted, matching Dennis Eckersley for the team record.
And Cologne still dealing at 94, 95 miles an hour as he works here in the 6th inning.
He looks totally at ease, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, he looks comfortable. There's no panic. He's out there. He's rolling along. He knows what he's doing. But it seems like he has the whole picture contained. He gets it all. What it's about, the good feel of being out there. Ray Fosse told me, he asked him, how do you feel? He said, I'm pitching today. I feel good. Tomorrow, I'm not going to feel good. I'm just happy to be pitching.
Green with a nice play, and a pick on the other end by Fryman. Retires Pedro Alvarez. Grant Green, his major league debut.
Good work on each end. Yep. Goes back up the middle to backhand the ball without having time to set himself. Gets it toward first, and Fryman does the rest.
Green drafted as a shortstop out of USC and played a number of positions in the minors. Cologne applauding the play.
He's making that play like we've seen Neil Walker make that play repeatedly recently. And it's an important play. 1-0 ball game. Cologne should be applauding.
Russell Martin flied out, bounced to short. Pirates with 4 singles in the game. One ball and 1 strike, the count on Russell Martin. Martin was 0 for 3 with a couple of walks yesterday at Wrigley.
Cologne, as you see, just trucking along. I had him down as being among the American League leaders in control, complete games, shutouts, wins, winning percentage, double plays thrown, and then I ran out of paper. There might be others. He is amongst them.
3-1. Bartolo Colon, 40 years old. Cy Young Award winner in 2005. Named to the All-Star team for the 3rd time in his career. Also made it in 1998 and 2005. And at the age of 40, he's the oldest All-Star in athletics history. Dennis Eckersley was 37 when he made it in 1992, 2nd oldest in A's history. In the air to right. Easy for Young. Ground ball and a fly out. So Bartolo Colon is rolling right along here against the Pirates. Bartolo Colon had his career-high tying 8-game winning streak snapped last Wednesday by the Cubs. Cubs won that ball game 3-1. Jeff Locke has allowed just one hit on a one-out double by Jed Lowry, followed by a wild pitch, enabled Josh Donaldson to bring home the A's shortstop with the game's only run.
And when we have those shots of Jeff Locke without his hat on, he still looks like he's 17 years old. But right now he's pitching like he's a very strong 10-year veteran.
Garrett Jones in the hole, 0-2, 95 miles per hour.
Pirates all-star left-hander. You know, he'll spend a few days in New York and probably continue the journey on north and east up into New Hampshire. Maybe to spend a couple days. Chance to go home during the break. Boy, they got to be proud of him up in New Hampshire. Absolutely. A great feature a couple of Sundays ago on Jeff and his hometown. It's a great story.
Like Michael Sanserino of the Post-Gazette. Good work. This is 96. 0-2 on Garrett Jones. The count remains. So it's the veteran Colon against relatively young Jeff Locke in his first full year in the major leagues.
It's kind of neat, too, when you come from a small town. Everybody is involved. Everybody you knew, you grew up with, your teachers, your friends, your uncles. It's great.
New friends you never had. Never thought you had.
Yeah, but in a small town, most of them have been friends because there aren't that many. But the perimeter expands. It sounds like he's got his feet definitely on the ground. Number 49. I loved it when Ray Sears described him as being a sponge about pitching and playing in the big leagues.
I think that's one of the reasons why you see him not only with Ray Searage but with A.J. Burnett to try and learn as much as he possibly can from guys that have been around a while.
Yeah, he's sitting right next to Russell Martin. Don't ever be too far away from your catcher when you're a young major league pitcher.
Garrett Cole next to A.J. Burnett.
Osmosis. Soak it all in, fellas.
Jones battles.
He's working hard to stay alive in this at bat.
A's pitchers, not just Colon, they just don't walk many. They've the fewest walks allowed in the American League and the third fewest in all of Major League Baseball. And another foul ball by Garrett Jones.
He really worked Jones off a very, very good clinical pitching the first time up, struck him out and made him look pretty bad, and then issued the walk last time. But there's grinding it out here.
Away, 2-2. Starling Marte had a long grind him out at bat in the ninth inning against closer Kevin Gregg.
Yeah, I came out of my chair like everybody else watching.
Home run tied the game with 2 outs. A 3-2 count against Kevin Gregg to extend the game. Now it's 3-2, and that extends the at bat. Garrett Jones. By the way, we understand that was the highest rated game in Root Sports history. You were tuned in. To center. Crisp. Colon wins that long battle. And he retires the side in order through 6. 1-0 Oakland.
Yeah, and it'll probably stand for a while.
Yeah. Still pretty impressive what Homer Bailey has done. You see the current standings, and look out. Jed Lowrie just inside the bag. A leadoff hit. Lowrie had the 1-out double in the 4th. He has both hits for Oakland tonight.
Right up in that hitting zone. He just waited long enough to push it past Garrett Jones. It's all right. Jeff will figure something out.
Lowrie traded over the winter to Oakland from Houston for Chris Carter. He was once traded for Mark Melancon, former Red Sox first-round pick. Dealt to the Astros
Donaldson
from Boston for Melancon.
Donaldson has hit into 9 double plays.
Foul ball.
Not
Pirates
that to
get
be
their
foul.
bullpen going. Donaldson a drive to the wall in left center field his first time up, and picked up his 58th RBI in the 4th inning with that sacrifice fly that brought in Lowrie.
And has Jeff Locke been efficient? This will be pitch number 76 thrown. He's working in the 7th inning.
Well, the bullpen not really working. It's Mark Melancon going through his routine here in the 7th inning. One on Donaldson. First round pick of the Cubs 6 years ago. 5 years ago traded to Oakland along with a couple of players for Rich Harden. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out.
Big inning for Jeff, going through the middle part of the Oakland batting order. And then he'll be scheduled to bat 3rd in the bottom of the 7th.
Two of the top teams in baseball here, Pirates and the A's, involved in a 1-0 ball game, first of 3. Oakland a half game up on Texas in the West. Ground ball, but a base hit. That was the double play ball, but found the hole. It's 2 on, nobody out.
Can't do much about that. You get him to hit the ground ball. You can't determine the direction. Up and in, and didn't get a lot of it, but got the right location.
Two on, no one out, and here is Cespedes. Ball 1.
Certainly no thought of having your number 4 batter up there bunting to try to push the runners around.
Toward 3rd. There's 1. And no, safe at first.
Almost had everything perfectly set up, and it looked like it was going to happen as Pedro was able to take that ball right at 3rd base. That certainly was a done deal. And then as he waits for the ball, he's anchored, and the throw not quite in time. Good hustle by Cespedes.
Still pretty close. Another look. Jones had his toe on that bag.
If he's got contact, you can get that call.
2 on in the batter. Nate Fryman, he has hit into a double play and sent Andrew McCutchen back to the wall his last time up. Nice ball toward right. Tabata. Big second out for Jeff Locke. Donaldson to third.
You know, Jeff Locke has worked himself into a situation now where he has a lot of confidence, even in jams. Doesn't look rattled, doesn't look tentative walking around the mound. First two batters reach. Now they may score 10 runs now, but he's got presence out there, and he's earned it by how well he's pitched. He's kind of checking it out. He knows the fat's still in the fire. He's got to get another big out to keep it at a 1-0 game. But I don't think you see any panic out there on number 49.
Ball one. Chris Young out to Oakland from the D-backs. Cliff Pennington, former 16th round pick of the White Sox, 2001. Slide out twice tonight.
A lot of people thought this guy was going to be a big-time power hitter. Still might become that. Got 8 home runs this year. Along with power, he can fly.
1 ball, 1 strike on Chris Young. Just missed. Fans wanted the call.
Got a building full of umpires tonight. Haven't liked some of the calls. This one just off the outside part of the plate. Mike DeMuro right on it. The correct call.
Lays off 3-1.
In this part of the batting order, Young hitting 190 coming into the game, so less than that now. Less than 210 for Derek Norris, and Green the rookie. So Jeff Locke is where he wants to be, but you got to do the deal.
3-1. Runner goes. It's ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
And, Russell Martin getting tangled up with the batter, although ball 4, moot point. Russell discussing it with Mike DeMuro. Russell saying why, and DeMuro saying because it was a free pass.
So now it's Derek Norris with the bases loaded. It's the second walk allowed, and here comes Ray Searage. The A's have drawn the most walks in all of baseball. Locke has allowed just 2 free passes tonight. Oakland A's had that surge last year. Vin Bizarro starts to loosen for the Pirates.
Similar to that Colorado Rockies surge.
Yeah, 33-15 finish after August the 15th for Bob Melvin's club. They lost in 5 games to the Tigers in the American League Division Series. A payroll of $55,372,000 last year, second lowest in baseball. They're 27th this year, 30 clubs. Pirates are 20th. And a strike on Norris, who has fouled to right and bounced to short. A nice play by Clint Barmas to rob Norris of a possible hit in the 5th.
This could be your ball game right here. This at bat. There's Jeff Locke reaching back to get a little extra here late in the ball game. He's usually not up around much more than 91. It's 92 miles an hour.
Josh Donaldson singled the ground ball through the left side. Cespedes reached on the fielder's choice. It was a possible double play ball, and Chris Young walked.
This is sometimes as a pitcher where you're looking for help. I need some help to get this last out. I'm in a jam. I'm kind of running low on fuel.
And since he is due up third in the bottom of the 7th inning, fair to say this is his last inning, and who knows, maybe his last batter. 2-1.
And sometimes when you're feeling that like that as a pitcher, I'm going to throw a strike. It may not be my best quality strike, but I'm going to make him put the ball in play and hope my guys can handle it.
It is 2-1 on Derek Norris, the catcher. 0 for 2 tonight. 1-0 Oakland. Strike now, 2-2 after that foul ball.
That's a strike he needed right there. Do not want to go 3-1 and then just know you have to give in and throw a fastball.
Norris 1 for 16 with the bases loaded. Former Nationals product. Traded in the Gio Gonzalez deal.
And folks here getting into the swing of things. They're sensing the value of this out. They're wanting this out.
Three and 2.
They try inside, and every once in a while you get that call. They didn't get it there.
Jeff Locke facing Derek Norris with the bases loaded. No place to put him. Norris has been hot recently. Coming into this game, 6 for his last 11 of his last 5. Walked him, and it's 2-0 A's.
And I think you're right. Here comes Clint. Well, I'm sorry. He walked by the steps. He was heading for the steps.
He wants to give Jeff Locke an opportunity to get the final out and be in line to get a W.
Yep, I like this. I applaud Clint for doing this. This is kind of a validation of Jeff Locke.
Green has flied out and struck out looking. He walks Derek Norris to force in the second run. Donaldson scoring. Now it's ball 1 on Grant Green. This is his major league debut.
And it just looked like a case of overthrowing that last pitch, that 3-2 pitch. Just trying to get a little something extra. Reach deep down and see what you can come up with, and he missed.
One ball, 1 strike to count.
Well, there are a lot of people in this ballpark rooting for Jeff Locke right now to get this out. And then we'll see what happens with the ball game. But Jeff's their man right now.
One off speed, 1-2. Trying to end it here. Bartolo Colon pitching a great ball game. And a foul tip. No, he stays alive. Yep, strikeout. Held on. The strikeout for Jeff Locke. And he leaves the bases loaded. 1 run does score. That's his 4th punch out. We're going to keep it right here for Take Me Out to the Ball Game during this 7th inning stretch. The A's and the Pirates, game 1 of a 3-game interleague series at PNC Park. It is 2-0 Oakland.
Join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Some beautiful shots from the AGH cam. Jeff Locke finished for the night, and 3 hits.
Yep, another
2
quality
runs.
start. And that string, too, the minimal number of hits per inning. Once again, 7 innings, 3 base hits. Another quality start, and you don't want to waste these quality starts.
And he's been charged now with 3 earned runs or less in each of his last 15 starts and 16 of his last 18.
Let's pick them up, boys. Score a bunch of runs here.
This offense just can't get going. Do something here. Brandon Inge leads off against Colon. Probably down to his last inning is Bartolo Colon. Inge has struck out, popped up, infield fly.
And still dealing in the mid-90s for Bartolo Colon.
Inge with a fly ball to right. One away in the bottom of the 7th inning. Bartolo Colon pitching a 4-hit shutout. Greg Brown along with Steve Blass and Robbie Ince-Mikowski. Josh Donaldson sacrifice fly in the 4th inning against Jeff Locke. And then a bases loaded walk moments ago. Lowry is 2 for 3, single and a double. Pirates with 4 singles. Jeff Locke outstanding again tonight.
And the ball game basically as advertised, with 2 all-star pitchers in front of 2 really good baseball teams at this point in the season.
Barmes a fly ball to left, toward the wall, and over the head of the left fielder Cespedes. Cespedes looked like he might have misjudged the distance on that one, and it's a 1-out double for Barmes, his 2nd hit.
A lot of carry on that ball. Clint Barmes at second base. The Pirates have action, need to get on the board, and then some. Right there in the zone.
Colon's reaction.
He thinks he's in trouble, and Clint got a lot of that ball.
Two-hit night for Barmes. Here is Travis Snider to pinch hit for Locke.
And I like that approach. Again, we were talking earlier about this guy with excellent control and a high percentage of fastballs. Lock in and take a shot early.
He's off. Snider 2 for 7 lifetime against Bartolo Colon. He's struggling as the season has progressed, hitting 300 in April. It's 1-2, and there is a lot of scrutiny on that right field position these days for the Pirates.
That Sinatra song, Flying High in April, shot down in May.
Yeah. Snider bats for Locke. And into left field. Barmes will be held. That arm of Cespedes, you're not going to try and test that. It's first and third, a pinch hit single on a 1-2 pitch for Travis Snider.
Large at bat. For number 23, Large. Out over the plate, maybe outside the strike zone, but he just tries to push it that way and finds the hole.
We were showing you the other day at Wrigley Field when Cespedes threw out Starlin Castro at the plate. A base hit to left. Ryan Cook is now loosening in the bullpen as Cologne approaches the 100 pitch mark and may be tiring. Starling Marte 0 for 3 has a 12-game hitting streak going. Infield at double play depth.
Priority number 1, get this run in. Find a way.
High, 0-1. Cologne trying to win his 12th game of the season would match Matt Moore of the D-Rays, or the Rays, for second behind Max Scherzer. Marte trying to extend his hitting streak to 13 straight games. A fly ball toward the line and right. A long run for Young, and he will run out of room. Steve, this big at bat yesterday in Wrigley Field against Kevin Gregg.
That was sensational. Sensational.
2-out game-tying home run.
There were a lot of people that got up out of their chairs with that one. And that, I believe, psychologically, that would have made a massive impact if the Pirates tied it that dramatically and came back to win that ball game, affecting everything and possibly some attendance tonight. A good crowd on hand, but I think if the Pirates won after that home run, that would have been something else here tonight.
Now Cologne out in front of Starling Marte, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Marte with 100 hits on the season. One of 9 players in the National League to collect 100 hits. He's 5th most in runs scored in the senior circuit with 58. At third base, Barmes. First base, Snyder. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Cologne has the upper hand now. Did he go? Appeal. Yes, says Wally Bell.
There's, again, Cologne coming in, locked him up, and Starling could not shut the swing down. Comes inside. Goes too far.
Cologne. It's a big strikeout. And now Tabata. Infield hit his last time up. He's pulled the ball 3 times against Cologne.
Still got something left.
Tabata was so good in these situations as a rookie. Jeff Locke seated next to A.J. Burnett once again. Dribbler. Here comes Donaldson. No play. Bucks get a run.
That was huge.
Tabata's second infield hit brings home Barmes. It's 2-1.
Sometimes it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be done. And the Pirates needed to cash in that opportunity and get at least one. They're still in business, but that was absolutely critical to get that run.
I don't know that Donaldson would have had a play anyway, even if he fields that cleanly or barehands it cleanly. Tabata had got down the line pretty quickly. He led the club in infield hits 3 years ago as a rookie with 31. It's his second infield hit of the night, and that was a big one. And now it's McCutchen.
Oh, Andrew, find a gap. This place will go nuts.
They've faced each other 3 times tonight. McCutchen singled his first time up, but Cologne has gotten him twice since with a strikeout and a ground out. .95 challenged him again.
Upstairs, high heat. If Andrew can catch a gap, Tabata has all the lead he can handle. He can take all the room he wants leading off first base.
1 ball and 1 strike. 2 All-Stars here. Colon and McCutchen. Colon going to the All-Star game for the 3rd time in his long career, and McCutchen for the 3rd straight time.
And they're not playing Andrew to pull the ball. They give him a lot of left center field as Crisp is shaded over toward right.
Strike at the knees, 95, 1-2.
You can see Crisp shaded over and a lot of acreage in left center field. Also down the left field corner, but with the speed that Colon is showing, you understand why they're not playing Andrew to pull.
107 pitches, season high for Bartolo Colon. He wants to talk with his catcher Norris. Jeff Locke currently on the hook. McCutchen could take him off the hook, and who knows, maybe give him a lead. Alvarez on deck. This is probably Colon's last batter, regardless. 1-2, 2 outs, 2 on, a run in. And driven toward the center field area. Crisp, a diving catch by Coco Crisp on a line drive hit by Andrew McCutchen.
Perhaps a game saver.
The Bucks get 1. A line drive caught by Crisp. Andrew McCutchen, the line drive towards center field. So might get into that gap, but Coco Crisp a good jump on it.
Sometimes you get a ball like that, it'll hook a little bit toward left center, but Crisp with a good speed, he outruns it, makes the catch.
Another angle.
Yeah, if he doesn't get it, Andrew's still running. That might be inside the park home run, but he got it.
Got it. Had to bend that arm, that elbow ball, as he made the dive headed toward his noggin. Travis Snyder out in right field. And Justin Wilson will face the A's. .34th appearance for the rookie Justin Wilson.
Seth Smith pinch hitting for Colon. So Colon goes head to head with Jeff Locke. They both pitch extremely well. Cologne has the edge, 7 innings, a run on 7 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He can win it, he cannot lose it.
Popped up on the right side. Brandon Inge. 1 out. Jeff Locke allowed only 3 hits. 2 runs. Pirates collected 7 hits off Cologne, 1 run.
There's only so much you can control yourself, and he certainly did his job.
Crisp is hitting .226 as a right-hand hitter. 0 for 3 tonight. Well, does Locke remind you of Glavine, Mr. Blass? Unfair to compare maybe, but your thoughts?
Well, certainly you can put Glavine's name on your mind when you got a guy that doesn't strike a lot of people out but is a very successful left-hand pitcher. Yeah, I don't think that's too far of a stretch. You know, we're not comparing careers, obviously, but the styles. I think Glavine was the ultimate master of massaging the outside corner, and he had that great changeup that just was devastating to right-hand batters and lefties. So maybe not the same style. I would say that Jeff Locke overall better stuff. I think that's an argument you could pursue, but Tom Glavine just pinpoint, and he would not only work the right-hand batters, he worked the umpires, and he would stretch that outside part of the plate until it would finally break with the umpires. Good pitch by Justin Wilson. Needs to hold the fort here in the 8th inning, but yeah, that's not a bad thought. So, just the idea with Glavine that he would just live on that outside part of the plate, to the point where Bobby Cox, or I'm sorry, opponents would load the batting orders up with left-hand batters to neutralize that changeup that just really destroyed right-hand batters, because now the changeup is coming into the lefties.
Travis Snyder will make the play in a nice 1-2-3 inning for Justin Wilson. Pedro Alvarez will lead off the bottom of the 8th inning with the Pirates down a run. They'll see the new pitcher.
Presented by authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Look at the road ahead for the Pirates, brought to you by Nissan. Tomorrow, Dan Straley for the A's, 5-2, 4.52 ERA. Garrett Cole, with his first career loss last time out. Then Tommy Malone will take the ball for Oakland. He's 8-7, 4.11 ERA against Francisco Liriano. There's Garrett Cole.
Into the bullpen for Oakland as you take a look at tomorrow night's starter, Garrett Cole. And now Ryan Cook will take over and work here in the bottom of the 8th inning as Colon departs. 37 innings, 35 strikeouts.
Cook has given up 6 runs in his last 10 games. Opponents hitting .263 over that span. He's not given up a home run, Steve.
I was just thinking about
37 in the 3rd innings pitch.
Yeah.
Most among American League relievers with no homers.
Just thinking about that. Eventually it has to happen. Any way we can get a base runner. Action. It is the 8th inning. Time is running out.
Toward left. Drops in front of Cespedes.
Again, Pedro going that way with authority.
Leadoff hit.
Kind of cut that ball out there, kind of sliced it that way a little bit. Good at bat for Pedro Alvarez.
Six hits over his last 10 at bats have gone the other way for Pedro Alvarez, including 2 tonight. Russell Martin. I wondered if they would consider, or Martin himself even, dropping down a bunt just in case Donaldson even with the bag at 3rd.
Now Donaldson creeping back. And another slider puts Russell in the hole at 2. 8th inning. Very deep defensive line in the outfield.
Oh, 2, and he strikes out Russell Martin. Strikeout by Ryan Cook against the Pirates catcher.
Just slidered Russell 3 straight times. Slidered him to death in that at bat.
36 Ks and 38 innings for Cook this season. And the other way, a base hit. And that's working for the power hitters, left-handed sluggers. Alvarez and Jones going the other way.
And that was a big-time fastball after a bunch of sliders to Russell Martin. He goes with a heat. And Garrett just takes him the opposite way, and the Pirates' business in the 8th inning.
Now Gabby Sanchez is going to pinch hit for Inge. Brandon Inge lifted in favor of Gabby Sanchez. Inge tonight 0 for 3. Gabby Sanchez will come up. He's hitting .235 this season. He's 2 for 14 as a pinch hitter. He's a double play candidate too. Cook will look to get the ground ball. Ball 1. pop up. It'll be an infield fly roll again. It's an area where, as you look down the road the second half, the Pirates might be looking to improve. Numbers off the bench are not good. The Pirates are hitting 195 off the bench. They're pinch hitters. Only the Brewers, Padres, and Nationals have a lower batting average collectively among their pinch hitters. And Gabby Sanchez pops up, and now it's Barmes, who's 2 for 3. We have a pinch runner at first base. Jordy Mercer is going to run.
Number 10, Jordy Mercer will run for Jones. Jordy Mercer.
Garrett Jones. Mercer not a burner. The Pirates feel like that guy's a little more speed maybe than Garrett Jones.
Yep. He'll get all the lead he wants.
And the ball gets away, so they'll move up 90 feet. That'll help.
Large.
Morris not able to keep it in front.
Yep. Right through the wicket, went down there backhand instead of having that glove with the fingers down.
They call it a wild pitch. That's right off his mitt.
Yep.
Not sure how that's a wild pitch, Steve.
No, that's all on the catcher. I was writing down PB, but I had to go to WP.
Yeah, I did too. And they just changed it to from WP to
okay,
PB.
Now back. Now we got the whole new ball game.
Pass ball. Two and 0 on Barmes. Getting a start tonight. And line to left field. Cespedes will go back and make the catch.
Hit it right on the button.
Barmes lines out to left. The Pirates strand a couple. We've played 8. Oakland leads 2-1.
It's 2-1 as we head into the 9th inning. Some notable injuries around the National League. Ryan Howard out 6 to 8 weeks. He'll need left knee surgery. Matt Kemp for the surging Dodgers. He's on the disabled list with a left shoulder injury. Aramis Ramirez of the Brewers, a sprained left knee. Guys?
Well, Rob, those are big, too. Obviously, with Ryan Howard, Steve, out 2 months, Phillies are going to have to come to terms with the idea that they are not going to be going anywhere this postseason. And so, in about 3 weeks, they will then make the decision on who is available via trade, you would think. Gabby Sanchez stays in the game. He is at first. And Jordy Mercer stays in the game. He's at second.
Yep. Going to be an interesting 3 weeks. Or really probably an interesting 10 days when it gets down to cases. Who's buying? Who's selling?
Donaldson leads off. 1 for 2, sac fly in the 4th. Singled, scored the 2nd run in the 7th.
Hard to believe that the Pirates won't be seeking some offense.
Yep. Have to believe that. $23,743, the paid attendance tonight.
Come on out. Last 6 before the All-Star break, and then a lot of road activity for the Pirates. So you want to see your Buccos, come on out this week.
Tomorrow night, Garrett Cole for the Bucks. It's his 6th major league start. Be opposed by Dan Straley. Hoping he won't be asked to try and end a losing streak. The Pirates have dropped the last 2 in Chicago, and the A's are 3 outs away from handing the Pirates their 3rd straight loss. Grant Balfour has been perfect, 22 for 22 in save opportunities.
I think you could categorize that as an overswing. Screw yourself into the ground. Excuse me, Greg.
Yep. Has not blown a save since April 29th last year in Baltimore. 40 straight saves. Two and 2 the count on Donaldson. Popped up. Abby Sanchez. One away. Pirates will have Travis Snyder leading off, and then Starling Marte and Jose Tabata in the bottom of the 9th inning. Down a run. Justin Wilson 4 up and 4 down in relief of Jeff Locke. Now faces Cespedes. Travis Snyder single in the 7th inning as a pinch hitter stayed in the game to play right. 1 of 9 Pirate hits. Bucks have out hit Oakland 9-3.
Trying to think of where we saw Grant Balfour in the National League, but it was just a brief time that anybody saw him in 2007 with the Brewers. Way back.
Kind of a similar story to Jason Grilli. Maybe not as dramatic, but Balfour really didn't become a full-time closer in the big leagues until last year with Oakland. He saved the 24 games. And Balfour, now the age of 35, an Australian native, bounced around with the Twins, the Brewers, Tampa Bay Rays. 1 and 2 on Cespedes.
As Wilson tunes it up to 96, 97 miles an hour.
Outstanding rookie season. And another pop-up. Sanchez. 2 outs. 2 away in the top of the 9th with Oakland leading 2-1. Cespedes 0 for 3 with a walk, and now Nate Fryman. He's 0 for 3. Jed Lowry 2 of the 3 hits for the A's. Donaldson the other. Able to scratch out a run in the 4th. An important wild pitch, allowing Lowry to move from 2nd to 3rd, and then scoring on the sacrifice fly. And a double play ball that was not turned. not routine. And a close play at first base, but that was costly. It's fouled off of Fryman. Nate Fryman was an 8th-round pick of the Padres in 2009. He's 26 years old. He's a Rule 5 player. The Houston Astros took him over the winter in the Rule 5 draft in December, but they took him off the roster toward the end of spring training, and the A's claimed him. So he's got to stay on the roster all year long, or else he can go back through the waiver process, and any club, including his original team, the Padres, could pick him up. A degree in history at Duke University. 6'8", 250 pounds, Nate Fryman. Last year playing at Double-A San Antonio, hit .298 with 24 homers.
Quite a wingspan, big man.
And this is picked up by Wilson, guns to first, and Justin Wilson 6 up and 6 down. Starling Marte will be due up second in the bottom of the 9th. You know what he did with 2 outs in the top of the 9th yesterday? Pirates need 1. Pirates and A's help support Pirates charities and the Miracle Leagues by purchasing VIP bags and bidding on auction items, including a Pirates road trip to Colorado, the chance to star in your own Root Sports commercial, and much more. Visit rootsports.com for more details, and tune in tomorrow night. Pirates charities on Root Sports auction starts at 6 with a special 1-hour pregame. It's always a lot of fun, and we will do that tomorrow night. But first, can the Pirates pull this off? By the way, changes Brandon Moss now in the game at first base. Former Pirate Brandon Moss over at first. New second baseman is Eric Sogard. And there is the new pitcher. Perfect so far.
His numbers, he has given up 4 home runs, but he's averaging a strikeout per inning. Grant Balfour, so many years with the Twins, and as we said, just an hour and a half with Milwaukee before spending parts of 4 years with the Rays, and then coming over to Oakland and getting it figured out. He was here in 2011 first, but last year he blossomed with 24 saves, and he's been on a roll ever since. Cologne 4-7, giving up a run. Cook, a scoreless inning, although the Pirates threatened with a couple of hits. A strikeout, and the Pirates have stranded 10 batters. 10 runners, excuse me. Thought it'd be tight tonight. It was. It still is. Still possible for the Bucks. The Bucks.
Travis Snyder singled in the 7th. 3 days ago, Balfour earned a save in Kansas City, got 2 outs. All he needed. Again, since April 29, 2012. Last time he did not convert a save. That was in Baltimore. It's the longest streak in the majors. Tied with Dennis Eckersley for the longest streak in Oakland A's history. Balfour hasn't given up a run in 14 of his last 15 games. 25 of his last 27. Ball, 1 strike. Snyder 0 for 2 in his career against Grant Balfour, the Sydney, Australia native.
He's antsy out there.
2-1, I'll say. And I think they're going to check on him. It looked like one of the trainers is going to hop up there and see how he was doing and then stop.
He's got all kind of movement. He'll take that hat off again.
For a moment, somebody's going to check on him, but I guess not concerned. 2-1 the count on Travis Snyder. 3-1.
I guess it's business as usual for this hyperactive young man on the mound. A lot of stuff going on. Gaylord Perry stuff.
3-2. Full count on Snyder. Up, second base. Sogard. 1 out at the bottom of the 9th inning. Balfour gets Snyder to pop up. Balfour, one of several Australian natives to pitch in the big leagues. He's the all-time strikeout leader among Australian-born major leaguers, ahead of Graham Lloyd, Ryan Roland Smith at the Mariners for a while, Peter Moylan, the Braves, in the top 4 or 5. Originally with the Twins, appeared in 2 games in 2001, signed as a free agent by the Twins organization in 1997. Big cut from Starling Marte. Needs a hit to extend his streak. Oh, and 1 on Marte. Lays off, 95. Comeback wins for the Pirates in 2013. Trying to do it again. 2 outs left. A 1-1 count on Marte. One and 2. Ball, 2 strikes the count on Starling Marte with 1 away in the bottom of the 9th. Cespedes toward the wall. 2 outs. Marte tried to do it again.
Got a lot of it. Left field at PNC Park.
And Michael McHenry is going to pinch hit for Jose Tabata. For the pitcher Justin Wilson. Michael McHenry, the last available player for the Pirates. Neil Walker unavailable. So the Pirates playing a man short. Cespedes making the play on the ball hit by Marte, and he is 0 for 5. Balfour now against McHenry.
That's what to do if this guy's just going to be antsy all over the place out there. Step out on him. Make him do it 1,000 times. He'll start this whole routine.
Like the pitcher's version of Nomar Garciaparra.
Well, the Athletics fans have seen this from Balfour.
0-1 the count on Michael McHenry. 0 for his last 7 at bats. Now it's 0-2 as Balfour looks to wrap up his 41st consecutive save.
And he got that second strike with a perfecta. 95 miles an hour right on the outside corner. Nothing nervous about that delivery.
0-2 on McHenry. 1 ball, 2 strikes. At the very least trying to get it to McCutchen. Coco Crisp had that catch, that line drive. Bat of Andrew McCutchen in the 7th, looked as though it might fall. Pirates scored 1. McCutchen lined out for the final out in the 7th against Bartolo Colon. Colon will improve to 12-3 unless the Pirates pull off a late rally. And Jeff Locke will lose for just the 2nd time, and for the first time since his first start, April the 10th.
And if it happens, we'll have deserved a better fate.
Allowed just 3 hits. Two and 2 on McHenry. Stays alive. Battling Grant Balfour as he pinch hits for Justin Wilson, who pitched 2 perfect innings. 6 up and 6 down for Justin Wilson.
You saw those 23 comeback wins, and that's probably why you're seeing a lot of these people hang around. The Pirates have been doing it all season long.
Two and 2 on McHenry. And this is going to do it. Fly ball to Coco Crisp. And the Athletics beat the Pirates in game 1 of this 3-game series, and they are now 10-0 all time against Pittsburgh as Balfour earns his 23rd save of the season, and Colon is now 12-3 on the year. Tough loss for Pittsburgh.
Yep, you hate to waste good pitching, and the Pirates got good pitching. Brings it home how hard it is to win with 1 run. We got those 4 1-0 wins. Well, it's tough to win with 1 run. It didn't happen tonight.
They out-hit the A's 9-3, but they strand 10 and not able to come up with a big hit. Let's go out to Robin Teak.